Okay, so I've been in school for a minute. I've spent around 70% of my life going to a building to gain education, all the way from kindergarten to college. Now, first off, you would think that simple idea of just gaining knowledge would be straightforward, right? Look, you get transported to a building, then get paired with a a very well kept educator, and then after getting a simple burst of planned random knowledge, you get brought back home. Now, the American education system is very flawed. We all know that. It's common information. But I don't think we've really been dissecting the problems enough because, dog, whoever is making this structure for students to learn hasn't been to school. But, like, wait, seriously, who invented school, though? Did he go to school? Were people just building stuff without certification? Like, bro, I need a doctor just to bag fries. Who's making this? Anyways, though, we're getting sidetracked. Today's topic is schedules. Look, as much as I want to bash the entire system and start waving the straw hat Jolly Roger, I'm not trying to destroy this truthfully. I think if you want to gain the absolute maximum amount of knowledge in your desired field, I feel like school and college is worth it. But again, there's just fundamental things a system like this needs to get right. And the funny thing is that they had it right. Like, okay, wait, hear me out. Elementary school, or like the British call it, primary school. Bro, like, why do y'all name stuff like that? Are we talking about colors? My bad, I love y'all. Anyways, yeah, no, elementary was like, first you're given one teacher, right? For a stretch of an entire school year. This is amazing because, sure, they might be a jack of all trades, master of none. Come on, bro, this is really first grade math. Like, is this that hard? But you get to build that connection with the teacher, right? And they get to understand your way of learning, whether you're a visual learner, an auditory learner, or even an IG Reels learner. Like, teachers really have time to know you. But life can't be that easy, guys. Come on. So now we're in middle school, and I'm gonna list the pros and cons of middle school. So one, well, now you got teachers who actually majored in the field that they're teaching, so that's a plus. And for two, alright, now let's list everything negative about middle school. One, you're in middle school. Like, I'm sorry, but middle school is just tragic. Like, you're not old enough to be independent, but you're not young enough to have kid privileges. You're kind of just cooked. But look, we're talking about the title of the video here, and this sucks, man. Look, let's break it down for anybody who doesn't know how America really runs it. Okay, so you have 8 periods. Yeah, 8. Now compare that to just the one class you had in elementary school, and you can see how big of a change that is. It's equivalent to wearing soft earmuffs and then replacing them with 2 ice blocks taped up to your head. Now, fun fact, you can have a total of 11 classes by replacing lunch with a class and having 4 A and B classes. Yeah, some kids were so deranged that they decided that, this is easy mode. Let me just chop off my legs and run a marathon. And bro, A and B classes were so bad. Look, we would have snow days, right? On top of that, we had vacations. So you're telling me you expect a 12-year-old to have an understanding and an algorithm to know what twisted up plan is in motion for the day. And yeah, guys, it was alternating A and B days that counted during vacation. Now, I would be lying if I said that they didn't announce this in the morning, but guess what? I was given an A and B class for first period. And guess what? The announcements were said after first period. Like, what? Dog, I had to desperately find a single soul that somehow knew what day the world was ending so I don't end up late. It was just so bad, man. And I'm gonna move on because the thing I'm gonna say next also applies to high school. So, yeah, high school. Why? Like, I'm not gonna judge anybody by saying that high school, isn't your special moment, because it very well could be. But like, why? Like, X plus high school is just why. Because, like, it's just not that special, honestly. Like, you come into high school, at least I did, and I was thinking, like, oh, this is about to be like High School Musical, man. And it's just not. Now, I do have to preface this and say that something kind of showed up in the beginning of my high school adventure, but I think that I got the best end of the stick because I still got to go to, like, the proms and, all the high school stuff that most people hype up in the end of high school. But continuing the video, the counseling is just booty. Like, look, there's a lot of times where you're gonna want a class, right? And you're just not gonna get it. Just no. But this goes to show you that counselors were rough in high school. They never got the job done. The other like 3 classes I got were like, what was it? Sports medicine and like lunch honors or something stupid. It was like the easiest class. I was just sitting there doing nothing, which sucked because again I wanted to challenge myself in my junior year. But anyways, high school's bad. The schedules were horrible. And for anyone who can relate to this in high school or middle school, you know about the horribly weighted schedules. Having first period gym and then having the last period as gym 2 is horrible. One makes you sweat and smell like BO throughout the whole day. The second one is just smelling horrible when you get in a hot bus because it's the last period. Why were those even an option? Why could I take gym in the morning and in the afternoon? Because the thing, again, you don't get the choice. They give you the illusion of choice, you don't get it. But let's talk about college. Now, with college, I'm still in college, I'm junior, so I can't necessarily talk about it, completely. But one thing I can say is they're horrible schedules. But let's just talk about the wait list. The wait list is horrible. You basically got these kids running and just trying to rush to these websites that crash because of the traffic. If you miss registering to a class, you're cooked. You're really just cooked. There's nothing you could do. And the last story I want to talk about is this dude named Professor D. Now, he is not Monkey D. Luffy. This dude was a goofball. Celestial Dragon, if you know, you know. Basically, this dude was the personification of a stone, of a big rock, like the one from SpongeBob. Yeah, that one. I sat with him, and basically the reason he's a professor was because he's a counselor / professor. So, he had a lot on his plate. Basically, I sat with him, and I was like, what schedule would be the easiest way for me to ease into college? And he said, oh yeah, this should be a good taste of college. I'm like, what are you doing? What is this? Professor D, if you're listening to this, hopefully you snort 6,000 pounds of pencil shavings. And hopefully you get so many splinters that you can't even breathe through your nose, because the amount of headaches this dude gave me, man, like he was honestly the top 5 worst counselors I've ever had. Maybe number 1. Oh, man. Who's knocking on my door? What's that? Professor D?
I have arrived. Your schedule could not be made in time, but we have substituted it. Instead of macroeconomics, I have replaced it with an 8 a.m. class, Slovakian butt-shaking 101. Hopefully this 1.5 credit will be enough for you to pass in the next 5 years. Also, you gotta surprise your own books. I can't do this.
Shot like the edge of a samurai sword. The mental blade cut through flesh and bone, but the snow kept me home, now I'm all alone. Therapeutic schedules got me in my zone. It's a brisk early morning, no risk, I am snoring. Every man missed their chances in the past, but I took my chance now.